There comes a moment in your life when everything feels unfamiliar. Even you, your routines don't fit. Your desires change. Your tolerance collapses. You wake up one day realizing the version of you that once carried your world is finally crumbling. Not because you're failing, but because your spirit is done shrinking to survive. This video is for the people who feel their old identity slipping. The ones standing in the in-between, uncomfortable but called forward. If you're ready to understand why your old self is disappearing, stay with me. And before we go deeper, subscribe if you're on this journey of healing, awakening, and returning to your true self. When your old self begins to fall away, it rarely feels peaceful at first. It feels like confusion, like restlessness, like a low-grade discomfort you can't shake. You start questioning things you used to accept. You start feeling distant from people you once felt close to. Your habits feel empty, your goals feel outdated, and the life you built suddenly feels too small for who you're becoming. This isn't failure. This is energetic shedding. Your old self, the one shaped by survival, fear, trauma, and expectations, can't come with you into your next season. And so life begins removing it piece by piece. You lose interest in old distractions. You're irritated by old patterns. You feel drained around people who represent the person you're outgrowing. It's not that you've changed overnight. It's that you're finally awakening to what has been misaligned all along. When this stripping begins, most people think something is wrong with them. They assume they're unstable, unmotivated, or not themselves. But the truth is the opposite. You are becoming yourself more than ever. The collapse of the old self happens when your inner world becomes too powerful to ignore. Your intuition grows louder. Your soul becomes tired of pretending. You start craving peace instead of approval, meaning instead of distraction, authenticity instead of performance. And every time you ignore those cravings, life becomes uncomfortable until you pay attention again. Relationships shift because the old version of you built connections from wounds, from wanting to be liked, chosen, or needed. As you heal, those foundations weaken. You're no longer willing to tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or anything that makes your energy shrink. You begin to see the truth behind situations you once justified. You begin to outgrow the roles you once played. You begin to reclaim parts of yourself you forgot existed. Yes, it feels like falling apart, but spiritually, it's a rebirth. You are not losing your old self as punishment, you're shedding it because you no longer need it. Your spirit removes what blocks your expansion. Your intuition closes doors your courage hesitates to touch. Your growth forces endings your mind doesn't want but your soul desperately needs. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. There is a strange space you enter when your old self is gone, but your new self hasn't fully formed yet. Feels like floating, like nothing is solid, like you're in between worlds. And this space is one of the most important stages of your spiritual evolution. Even though it feels uncomfortable, confusing, and sometimes scary, this is the void, and everyone who outgrows an old identity must pass through it. In this void, you don't feel like the person you used to be, but you also don't feel like the person you're becoming. Your desires feel blurry. Your motivations feel weak. The things that once excited you don't hit the same anymore. And routines that once felt familiar now feel heavy and pointless. You might wake up feeling lost. You might feel disconnected from friends who still fit their old identities. You might feel like you're standing still while everyone else seems to be moving forward. But this isn't stagnation. This is inner reconstruction. Your spirit is rewiring you from the inside out. Your nervous system is adjusting to a new level of self-worth. Your identity is detaching from old wounds, old stories, old versions of yourself. Think of it like a snake shedding its skin. There is always a vulnerable period in between. The old skin is too tight to stay, but the new skin isn't fully formed yet. That's where you are. Tender, exposed, sensitive, but growing in ways you cannot see yet. This void is not punishment. It's preparation. When things feel empty, your soul is making room. Room for a new mindset, room for healthier relationships, room for opportunities that match your evolution, room for a reality built from truth instead of survival. But here's the most powerful part. The void is where alignment begins. In this space, you start to notice what feels right and what doesn't. You begin sensing what your spirit wants to move toward. You start craving deeper experiences, more meaningful connections, and a life that reflects your true self. This stage can feel slow, lonely, or uncertain, but don't mistake discomfort for the wrong path. This is where your new life is quietly taking form. You're not losing direction. You're being redirected. There comes a moment in every spiritual transformation where the shift becomes unmistakable. You don't have to guess anymore, you feel it. Your old self, the version of you built from survival, fear, and old patterns, begins to fall away piece by piece. And even though it can feel uncomfortable, these signs are proof that you're stepping into a higher chapter of your life. One of the first things you notice is emotional unraveling. Suddenly, the things you used to suppress start rising to the surface. Old memories, old wounds, old feelings you thought you outgrew begin showing up, not to punish you, but to be released. A dying identity always tries to express everything it hid. This is healing disguised as chaos. Then comes detachment. You stop resonating with certain people, places, or habits. Conversations that once entertained you now feel draining. Friendships built on the old version of you begin to fade naturally, not out of conflict, but because your energy no longer matches. You feel a subtle pull away from anything that no longer aligns with your truth. Another sign is the rise of inner conflict. There's a tug-of-war inside you, one part trying to hold onto the familiar, another part urging you toward your becoming. This friction is normal. It's the exact moment your subconscious realizes the old patterns won't work anymore. And then there's the identity confusion. You might catch yourself thinking, I don't know who I am anymore. But you're not losing yourself, you're outgrowing who you never were. Your intuition also becomes louder. You start sensing when something isn't right, even if you can't explain it. Your body reacts faster to fake energy. Your soul rejects anything out of alignment. This isn't oversensitivity, it's evolution sharpening your awareness. You also experience random surges of clarity, moments where something suddenly clicks, a realization, a truth, a direction. These moments are glimpses of your future self breaking through the noise of your old identity. And finally, there is fatigue, not from laziness but from releasing years of emotional weight. Transformation is energy work. Shedding an entire identity takes strength. If these signs sound familiar, don't panic. Nothing is wrong. It simply means your old story is losing its power. You are not falling apart, you are being rebuilt. Once your old self begins to fall away, something extraordinary happens inside you. A quiet rebuilding, a gentle reshaping of your inner world. You don't wake up one morning fully transformed. Transformation enters in small waves, subtle shifts that slowly become undeniable. And this is where your rebirth begins. First comes the return of inner strength. You start noticing that the things that used to break you don't hit the same anymore. You breathe differently. You respond differently. You don't absorb chaos the way you once did. It's like your soul has grown new armor, not made of hardness, but of awareness. You're no longer controlled by old wounds, triggers, or insecurities. You've outgrown the situations that once held power over you. Then appears the strange but beautiful sense of calm motivation. Not the loud, forced kind where you push yourself to change, but a quiet pull from within. A desire to do better, be better, choose better. You feel called toward the version of you you've always sensed but never fully stepped into. This is alignment speaking. Around this time, your boundaries sharpen. Not because you're angry or guarded, but because you finally understand your worth. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop settling. You stop saying yes when your spirit is screaming no. People may notice the difference, but this shift isn't for them. It's for your peace. Then something even deeper happens. Your desires begin to purify. You no longer chase things from ego, fear, or loneliness. You don't want validation anymore. You want meaning. You don't crave attention. You crave connection. What once impressed you now feels empty. Your soul starts calling for depth. Your intuition becomes your guide, your compass, your safety. You begin making decisions based on inner truth rather than external approval. And each aligned choice becomes a brick in the foundation of your new identity. And finally, you begin to feel expansion, that gentle knowing that life is opening for you again, that new opportunities, new relationships, new energy, and new paths are becoming possible because you've cleared space for them. This is your rebirth. Not loud, not rushed, not dramatic, but real, steady, sacred. You're not becoming someone new. You're returning to who you were always meant to be. If you're feeling stripped down, emptied out, or pulled away from everything familiar, trust it. You are not falling apart, you are being rebuilt. A new season of your life is forming beneath the surface, preparing to rise in ways you can't yet see. This is the quiet part of transformation, the sacred part. And if you're here, listening to these words, it means your breakthrough is already in motion. Let this be your reminder. You are guided, protected, and aligned. If this message spoke to you, subscribe and stay close. Your evolution is just beginning.